What is up, my seafood friends, and welcome to r/askreddit. I'm your host, Dr. Fishsticks, and r/askreddit is just where people go to ask questions, and then other people answer them. So, let's get into it. This first question is, what was the worst advice you've ever received? This better be a good one. At 24, while making $12 an hour and renting an apartment, my parents convinced me to buy a brand new Honda Accord. They assured me it was the only way to get a new car, and that used ones broke down immediately. The paychecks were one entire paycheck of the two I got every month. Jesus. My husband needed a medical card after his heart failure from viral cardiomyopathy. The social worker told me I should get pregnant so we would qualify for help with his medical costs. I was 24 and lived in Ohio. I was horrified. She listed all the help we could get if I could get pregnant. He was in an ICU for recovering from heart surgery. I walked out of there just disgusted. Okay, I'm very confused, like, what this social worker was thinking was gonna happen. Was she proposing that her husband should get her pregnant? Not sure how that's gonna happen, considering he just has heart fail on him. Or B, that she should cheat on her husband. Either way, yeah, that's some pretty bad advice. Invest in DVDs because you can pawn them for cash when you need money. I'm noticing that most of these involve money. Maybe a lot of people are just really bad with money. My grandmother told me if I wanted to stop being poor, I should find a job in logistics or warehousing. I was literally managing a warehouse at the time. Did she not know that, or did she just, like, ignore you? Like, she knew you had that job and she's like, well, you should get a job in warehousing. I'm sure that pays well. All you have to do is prove to the woman that you are better than the man she is with, and she will come running. A former manager who had 7 girlfriends and a wife who stabbed him when she learned about the girlfriends. I mean, I guess the advice worked if he had 8 relationships at once, but also don't do that. Lawyer said that I should just admit that I did it. I denied it and the case was dismissed. Oh my god. Did you do it? No, but if I did it, this is how I would do it. Not me, but I remember a thread about a man who told his girlfriend every day that she stinks. She washed 2 or 3 times a day, tried everything she could to rid of this smell, until she cracked and started screaming at him, asking what the frick he was smelling. Apparently, his father told him, tell a woman she smells every day and she'll be constantly clean. He just took that as normal, good advice to live by. Now, it worked, apparently, but also, anyone watching, do not do that. Don't. Also, one thing, I'm not even sure if that was meant to be taken as literal advice. I think that was like a metaphor, maybe. If it was literal, then that's really bad advice. Just ignore your bully. Okay, I did as you advised, and they stabbed my hand with a pencil to get my attention. Just calmly walk away. Worst advice received and acted upon. My friend out of high school got a job at Ford, started at $28 an hour full-time and in the UAW. His mom said he shouldn't waste his life working at a factory to go to college despite him having a 1.8 GPA in high school and very good with working with his hands. He quit, took 2 classes at college, and dropped out. He spent the next 8 years making pizza because the job market was trash. Holy crap, Dave, I can see why you had a 1.8 GPA. You are stupid. I'm very sorry that that happened to you and that you would receive terrible advice, but you shouldn't have acted upon it. Also, Jesus, $28 an hour? I didn't know Ford paid that well. OG Redditors, what is the darkest Reddit moments/threads that no longer exist or got lost over time? The time where Reddit went on a witch hunt for the Boston bombers, doxed some innocent kid who had gone missing, including posting harassing messages to his family on Facebook. Turns out the kid was not involved at all and disappeared at the same time because he committed suicide. But apparently that's where We Did It Reddit comes from. Oh god. There was a thread on, I think, r/legal advice a few years back asking how rape cases were investigated and prosecuted, and it was immediately apparent that it was posted by someone who was trying to figure out how to get away. Oh my god, that didn't end well. Yeah, no, you think. The dude who stole money by pretending he'll buy an island only for Redditors, LMAO. I thought the US already owns the Virgin Islands. That time that guy discovered his wife cheated on him, Reddit's advice was to file for a divorce immediately. His wife's response was to murder their children. What? Grandma who killed her granddaughter because she didn't really believe she was allergic to coconut oil. Why have I heard so many stories about people who are just like, you're allergic to something? Nah, this is real, right? And then they feed them the thing that they're allergic to and they like die or almost die. Like, why is that a thing? I don't recall the sub now, but there was a guy who was telling about the time he suffered a traumatic head injury. He was a pretty average Joe for Reddit, young, didn't really have a lot going on. While he was unconscious though, he saw himself graduate college, get a great job, meet the woman of his dreams, start a family, traveled, etc. He basically lived his entire dream life and grew old with her in all the few minutes he was knocked out. When he came to, it was gone. And he fell into a depression and despair because he wanted it back so badly. That one always sticks with me for some reason. Alright, that thread got a little dark, so we're gonna go to a more lighthearted question, which is, what problem is often overlooked in apocalyptic movies/TV shows that could kill you? Parasites. Not xenomorphs, but tapeworms, ringworms, etc. There are a lot of diseases that used to be an endemic before modern sanitation wiped them out. As bad as the show Revolution's overall plotting and pacing was, they did a generally good job of thinking about these kinds of little inconsistencies. There's a minor character who was a doomsday prepper before the apocalypse, but he didn't stock up enough on antibiotics. As a result, his daughter died of tetanus that he was unable to treat. Warlord kidnaps prisoners for blood because his wife has diabetes and needs constant transfusions of blood with sufficient insulin to survive. There's a doctor who keeps a collection of mold fruit to harvest penicillin mold from it and make penicillin. Some characters try to go into an old subway tunnel but nearly die because of lack of sufficient airflow without modern HVAC systems. Clean drinking water. I don't think people really appreciate how much water is needed for a group of people to survive. Natural disasters. You'd have no idea if a hurricane, flash flood, typhoon, monsoon, or other Sharknado events were coming. Gasoline has a shorter shelf life than is portrayed in these movies and TV shows, so after a year, nobody would really be driving anywhere. It wouldn't necessarily kill you, but it's one of those things that bothers me because it's never really addressed. Lack of glasses or contacts. If my glasses broke, I would be a goner. Sepsis. Alright, last question for today, which is, what's the weirdest compliment you've ever received? That I have a very swan-like voice. She didn't actually know what a swan sounds like. She was complimenting me on how I said, your coffee will be ready over there, when we were both working at a coffee shop. That I looked like I belonged on a shortbread tin. I have no idea what this means. Are you white and crumbly? Are you by chance 100 years old? Because I looked up shortbread tins, and it's just a bunch of people who are like, from medieval times, or colonial times. Your ears look like tortellini. Delicious! A random woman outside of a cafe beside a train station as I get chased by a wasp. You smell very sweet and spicy. That's why he's chasing you. It's very nice. Thank you, random lady. 2 years later, I'll never forget. I was the only one getting bit by mosquitoes at a barbecue, and a random man said, I'm not surprised. Your skin looks so soft, I'd bite you. Please don't. That one's more weird than the first one. I like the first one because I could like see how that's a nice thing. That second one's creepy. I was admiringly told by a female anthropology professor in class that I have a very robust cranium. I had a girl tell me she'd like it if I got hit by a car so she could cradle my head and stroke my hair as I died. Leave! She's gonna slit your throat and drink your blood. Get out now. My wife. You have a nice-shaped skull. What's up with women and nice-shaped skulls? Is that like an appealing thing? You smell organic. Your mind is like a kaleidoscope. Were they a psychic? Were you on acid at the time? I feel like if those were combined, that compliment would make sense. I once had an old Hispanic lady that didn't speak any English, who I didn't know, have someone she was with come over to me at a restaurant and ask if she could bless my eyes for me. She said she wanted to bless them so nothing would ever happen to them because she'd never seen anything like them. And then he attaches a picture of his eyes. I like how you look at me. Like you're going to kill me. My girlfriend at the time. In her defense, my resting face does look kind of mean, LOL. Is like murderous rage resting face an endearing thing to people? Ignore that sound. But sadly, ladies and gents, that is all the time we have for today. If you like this video, press the like button. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, comment them down below. And if you really like this video and want to see more like it, please subscribe. And that is all for today, so until the next video, goodbye.
I know it's my ADHD, cause I can't stop moving my feet. And I feel like popping and locking, rolling and rocking, shaking and shocking.